is Steve Beaumont, and I'm the owner and the dreamer behind this crazy hotel that you're touring. I started dreaming this up in 1998 after my daughter Shelby was born, my second child, and like so many parents, you just find that you're spending all your time being a parent and not being a lover and a partner to your spouse. Mm-hmm. And I kind of felt like there needed to be romance in my life. And I talked to my friends and they had the same situation. Everybody nowadays focuses on their kids first and their relationships second. And I think that's backwards. Wow. So in 1998, 99, I started drawing out a hotel on paper and planned it and ripped it up and planned it again and tried it again. And at the end of the day, in 2004, after 5 years, the Chateau Avalon opened here in Kansas City, Kansas, with 23 different themed rooms, 61 rooms total. And my dream of bringing a romantic escape to the couples of the Midwest and Kansas City came true.
Tell me, what is unique about this place?
Wow, all you got to do is walk into a room and answer that question. But from the outside, what I was really trying to do with the name Chateau Avalon, I wanted pictures in people's mind of a European castle or something, a place that you've never been. I've never been. I've never been to Europe. I want to go to Europe. I want to see a real chateau. If I can't see one, I'm going to build one. And so on the outside, it's very regal and it's very European looking. Mm-hmm. But once you walk in and you go to each one of these different rooms, we're in the Tuscany suite right now, and the door says whatever suite you're walking into, Jesse James or Camelot or Roman Dynasty. Each one of those rooms, when you open the door, you will escape into an environment like you've never seen in a hotel before, I promise. I mean, we've got a guest book in every single room, and the most common comment that I see in our guest books is, I felt like I left Kansas City. As soon as I closed the door, I felt like I was somewhere else. And that's such a blessing to me, because that's what I set out to do. That's what we wanted to do, is to create an environment where people could just escape. They can look at one another, connect, remember why they love one another, and just spend a real special night together. We've done weddings since we opened, obviously honeymoons. This would be the #1 destination for a couple that's getting married in Kansas City. Where do you want to stay the night? Probably in a suite that you'll remember the rest of your life, right? Not just a normal Holiday Inn or run-of-the-mill hotel. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of wedding honeymoon nights. And the most common request we've gotten over the years is we need a place to host our event, host our wedding itself, host the wedding reception. And so as we speak, outside next to the Beaumont Fountain, which is the biggest fountain in Kansas City, we are constructing a terrace for outdoor events with a tent and everything, and we can do groups of up to 250. Next year, it'll open next spring. Mm-hmm. And then on the Denial patio on the north side of the hotel here, back in the woods, kind of underneath the tower of the castle, is this beautiful secluded little patio where we can do dinners for 50 or cocktail parties for 125 people. At the end of the day, we need to become more of what the people are asking for, which is an event destination. Something that happens every week, week in and week out, is couples get reunited from their spouse who's been serving in the armed forces overseas. I mean, I guarantee you that sometime this weekend there will be a man who's been deployed in Afghanistan, Iraq, or someplace outside the U.S. borders in harm's way, protecting America, and his wife is going to surprise him with a meeting here when he flies home from KCI. That happens all the time, and a few of those we've had the opportunity to film. Mm-hmm. They're getting reacquainted and all that, and some of them have even been on TV stories. But that happens every single week here. Those are great stories. I will tell you though, the story that sticks in my mind the most, and I'll try not to cry when I tell it, was this couple who was fan of the chateau. They came when we first opened, and then this is our 14th year, in about year 8, they came back and they kind of reintroduced themselves to me and said, hey, we stayed the year you opened and we wanted to come back. It's a special time for us. And I said, well, I'm glad you're here. And the husband, then kind of took me aside and he said, well, my wife has a very rare form of cancer and she's going to be gone in the next month. And there's so many places in the world we wanted to see, and we can't fly, she can't be on a plane, and she said she wanted to go to the chateau and she wanted to see the world through the chateau. And they came here and they stayed 3 or 4 days, Oh my gosh, I can remember the last time I saw them on the front porch. They stayed 3 or 4 days and they just had a really good stay. And I visited with them on my way out the front door, and she wrote me the nicest little note that I've got back in my office, that it gave them something that they couldn't have given themselves. And I mean, if I opened for no other reason in the last 14 years, that was enough of a reason to be in business right there. I own multiple businesses, and I know I can get completely engrossed in what I do. And I can, be distracted, and I don't give my kids the time that they want, and I don't give my girlfriend the time that she deserves, and that's unfortunate. And what we have to realize is at the end of the day, it's the couples that are going to be together after the kids are gone. And it's the peace of mind that you've got to have day in and day out to go to work. So to get that, you got to have vacations. And if you can't get a vacation in, take 24 hours, escape to the chateau or a place like that. Because one thing that we have learned is that modern society, the things that we covet most are experiences. We don't worry about where our next meal is going to come from anymore. We don't worry about, are we going to have shelter tonight? We're fortunate and we're blessed that we know that those are given, right? So we start to recognize how much time we have or how little time we really have, and we want to make better experiences of that time. And places like this are where you can build, as I say, build memories. And that's what I wish as many people as would think of it would do. Don't just get the idea and say, I'll do that next year. Do it. Whether it's here or somebody else, some other hotel, just do it.
What makes you so humble as a businessman?
First, I don't know that I feel humble because I've been talking about myself for 5 minutes here. So that, and on a camera, that by it of itself feels like it's self-aggrandizing. But I'm truly blessed. My faith in Christ and the blessings that I've been given in this world are where my focus needs to be. I am lucky to still have this hotel, to be able to achieve my dream and build a place that I just literally couldn't get out of my head. And most people don't have the luxury or the blessing to get to the finish line with something that they so desperately want to do. So that to me is really important. And visiting with you and anybody that comes in here, especially business owners, I have an affinity for entrepreneurs. I love the people that go out there and they take it, they roll up their sleeves, and they just figure out how to survive in the business world. And the school of hard knocks, and I've failed more times than I can count. I'm one of the biggest failures I know, and if I can meet business people like your group that I'm meeting with here today, man, that's a blessing to me. I get more out of it than I give. So I really do appreciate you choosing the chateau and taking your time to come here.
Thank you so much. Now tell me, what's coming up at this amazing place for that next month?
Generally speaking, the next big party is going to be New Year's Eve, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's right around the corner, and Christmas is beautiful here. We decorate the entire hotel for Christmas. You know what, though, we touched on a moment ago the military, if I can just get one plug in.
Yes, please.
Military and service personnel is very important to us here at the Chateau. And the entire month of November, which is the month that November 11th is Veterans Day, the entire month of November we do 50% off for all Armed Services personnel.
Perfect.
And so it's not too soon to start telling your friends, hey, go to Chateau Avalon, they'll give you half off for your service to the country. It's also good for police and firefighters and those people. So the month of November is great. I get to bump into heroes galore. One message I want to tell the people that watch this today is if you get an idea tonight, act on it.
Perfect.
Whether it's here or somewhere else, act on it.
3 tips that make you humble, that make you the person that you are right now. So successful.
The 3 tips that I would say, first and foremost, believe in yourself. You got to have confidence in yourself and your abilities. If you don't, then the nights will be too long and the race will seem too distant. 2 is have grit. You're going to get doors slammed in your face. You're going to get told no so many times. I got turned down by 51 banks before I got a yes on this project. I mean, you got to be willing to take no, and you got to be willing to do what it takes to get to the end. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And third, I would say, be prepared to pay everybody else before you. You know this in small business.
Yes.
Everybody else gets paid before you do.
Yes.
You know, people on the outside think the business person, oh, they're just rolling in it. They're always the first. No, you're the last one at the watering hole. You better realize that before you ever get into business.
Exactly.
Because everybody else comes first.